We live in a world where control is revered. From an early age, we are taught to take charge of our destiny, to plan meticulously, and to strive for the outcomes we desire. It is a seductive belief that with enough effort, knowledge, and determination, we can bend life to our will. But this illusion of control, while comforting, often leaves us restless and disillusioned. For as much as we may try to dictate the path of our lives, we are inevitably confronted by forces far beyond our grasp. Consider the nature of life itself. It is not a static equation to be solved, but a dynamic, flowing process. Seasons change without our input, the tides rise and fall, and the heartbeats of those around us sink and diverge in ways we cannot predict. Even our own thoughts and emotions, which feel so personal and intrinsic, arise unbidden, like clouds forming in the vast expanse of the sky. If we cannot fully control our internal world, how much less can we control the external? This realization is not meant to discourage, but to liberate. The illusion of control burdens us with an impossible task, the belief that we must be the sole architects of our fate. It teaches us to resist uncertainty, to fear the unknown, and to fight against the natural flow of events. Yet in that resistance we miss the beauty of life as it unfolds in its own time and rhythm. Imagine a river. It does not demand to know where it will end, nor does it struggle against the rocks that shape its path. It flows not because it is weak, but because it understands the power of surrender. Likewise, life invites us to participate in its flow, not as its master but as its companion. The more we cling to control, the more we distance ourselves from this harmonious state of being. This is not to say that effort or intention is meaningless. On the contrary, they are vital aspects of our journey. But there is a delicate balance between intention and acceptance, between striving and trusting. When we release the need to control every detail, we create space for the unexpected, for the serendipitous moments that enrich our lives far beyond anything we could have planned. Consider how many of life's most profound experiences, meeting a dear friend, finding a calling, or encountering love, arrive unbidden. These moments are not the result of meticulous planning, but of a mysterious convergence of time, place, and readiness. They remind us that the universe often works in ways we cannot anticipate, offering gifts that surpass our limited imagination. The illusion of control is not an enemy, but a teacher. It shows us the limits of our understanding and invites us to embrace a greater truth, that life is not a puzzle to be solved, but a mystery to be lived. When we release the grip of control, we do not lose power, we gain freedom, the freedom to trust, to flow, and to be fully present in the unfolding of life. Patience is often misunderstood. In a world that prizes speed, efficiency, and immediate results, patience can feel like a weakness, a passive act of waiting while others move ahead. But true patience is far from passive. It is a quiet strength, an intentional pause that allows wisdom to emerge. It is the art of being present without forcing outcomes, of trusting that what is meant to unfold will do so in its own time. In every moment of life there is an unseen rhythm at work. The cycles of nature, day turning to night, seeds growing into trees, and seasons passing one into another remind us that life unfolds according to its own schedule. No amount of urgency can make the sun rise faster or the winter thaw sooner. Similarly, in our lives, the events that truly matter, growth, healing, and transformation, take time. Patience teaches us to honor that time, to respect the processes that cannot be rushed. To be patient is to step away from the frantic need for control. It requires us to quiet the mind that constantly seeks certainty and resolution. This is not easy. The human mind craves answers and outcomes, often convincing us that waiting is an obstacle to progress. But patience reveals the opposite. Waiting, when done with presence and faith, is a powerful act of alignment with the flow of life. It allows us to observe, to learn, and to grow in ways we might otherwise overlook. Patience is not merely about waiting, it is about how we wait. Do we fill the space of uncertainty with frustration, anxiety, or doubt? Or do we use it as an opportunity to cultivate trust and inner stillness? When we approach waiting with wisdom, it becomes a fertile ground for personal growth. In the pause, we learn to listen more deeply to ourselves, to others, and to the subtle guidance of life. Consider a farmer planting seeds. They cannot force the seeds to sprout or demand an immediate harvest. Instead, they tend to the soil, water the crops, and trust in nature's timing. Similarly, when we plant intentions or seek answers, we must nurture them with care and allow them to develop naturally. Rushing the process often leads to disappointment, while patience allows for the fullness of possibility to emerge. Patience also teaches us humility. It reminds us that we are not the sole orchestrators of our lives, that there are forces and connections at play far beyond our comprehension. When we embrace this truth, patience becomes an act of surrender, not a surrender of effort, but of control. It is a recognition that wisdom often lies in allowing, in trusting that life knows what it is doing. Through patience, we come to see that waiting is not empty time, but sacred time. It is a space where transformation occurs, where clarity arises, and where faith deepens. In the stillness of patience, we align ourselves with a wisdom that cannot be hurried, one that gently guides us toward the path we are meant to walk. Life often feels like a series of milestones, a timeline marked by achievements, goals, and events we deem significant. We spend much of our time chasing these milestones, believing they will define the value of our existence. Yet in the midst of this pursuit, we often overlook the profound truth that the most meaningful moments in life are rarely the ones we plan or predict. They are the unexpected, unmeasured, and often fleeting experiences that resonate deeply within us. These are the moments beyond measure. Think back to the times that have truly moved you. It might have been a quiet conversation with a friend, the first light of dawn after a sleepless night, or the way the rain felt on your skin during an unanticipated storm. These moments defy explanation, and their significance cannot be quantified. They occur not because we orchestrate them, but because we are open to the present, allowing life to unfold as it will. In doing so, we experience something pure and unfiltered, a connection to the essence of being alive. Our modern world, with its obsession with productivity and outcomes, has conditioned us to focus on measurable progress. We are taught to value what can be seen, counted, or achieved, but in doing so, we risk overlooking the intangible beauty that lies in the spaces between. The laughter shared without reason, the stillness of a quiet afternoon, or the way a simple melody can evoke a flood of memories, these are the moments that cannot be planned or replicated. They are gifts arising from the intricate web of existence. These moments also teach us something profound about the nature of time. We often think of time as linear, a constant march forward toward a destination. Yet, when we experience a moment beyond measure, time seems to dissolve. We are no longer bound by the past or the future, we are fully immersed in the present. This immersion, this presence, is what gives these moments their depth. They are not defined by their duration, but by their intensity, their ability to touch something eternal within us. It is in these unmeasured moments that we often find clarity, connection, and meaning. They remind us that life's richness is not found in grand achievements or carefully laid plans, but in our ability to be present and receptive. To experience these moments, we must let go of our constant striving and embrace a state of openness. We must be willing to pause, to notice, and to appreciate what is already here. Moments beyond measure also invite us to connect with others in ways that transcend words or actions. A shared glance, a knowing smile, or the simple act of being with someone in silence, these connections are profound not because of their scale, but because of their authenticity. They remind us of the shared humanity that binds us and the profound truth that life's greatest treasures are found in connection, not accumulation. In seeking moments beyond measure, we also cultivate gratitude. When we stop measuring life by what we accomplish or possess, we begin to see the abundance already present. A sunrise, a kind word, the sound of wind in the trees, these are gifts freely given, waiting to be noticed. Gratitude opens our hearts and allows us to fully embrace the beauty of these moments. Ultimately, moments beyond measure remind us of what it means to truly live. They are not about doing, but about being present, being open, and being grateful. They invite us to step out of the rush and into the rhythm of life itself, where every breath, every sound, and every sensation holds the potential for wonder. In these moments we glimpse something infinite, something that cannot be captured or counted but can only be felt. And in feeling it, we remember the true richness of life. Time is often described as a straight line, a relentless march from past to present and into the future. We speak of it in units, seconds, minutes, hours, measuring it as though it was something tangible, something we could hold or contain. But when we pause and truly reflect on the nature of time, it becomes clear that it is far more elusive and profound than our simple measurements suggest. Time is not a rigid framework, it is a flowing, dynamic force, one that shapes our lives in ways both subtle and profound. In many ways, time is a paradox. It feels both fleeting and eternal. A single moment can stretch endlessly, filled with emotion or anticipation, while entire weeks can slip by unnoticed in the routine of daily life. This paradoxical quality arises from the fact that time is not something external to us. It is deeply intertwined with our perception, with the way we experience and engage with the world around us. Think of a child at play. In their world, time is fluid and expansive. Minutes stretch into eternity as they lose themselves in the joy of discovery. Contrast this with the hurried pace of an adult, caught in the grind of responsibilities, where time feels scarce and compressed. The difference is not in the clock, but in the way time is lived. When we are fully present, immersed in the now, time seems to open up. When we are distracted or preoccupied, it slips away unnoticed. Our relationship with time is also deeply influenced by our longing for control. We try to plan and organize our lives as though time were a resource to be managed, but the more we try to hold on to it, the more it evades us. Time is not ours to command. It is a river flowing through and around us, carrying us forward whether we resist or not. This realization can be both humbling and freeing. It invites us to release our grip and to flow with the current, to trust in the unfolding of life. The past and the future are illusions we often mistake for reality. The past exists only in memory, shaped and reshaped by our minds. The future is nothing more than a projection, an imagined landscape of hopes and fears. The only true time is the present, the fleeting yet eternal now. It is in this moment that life is happening, that choices are made, and that experiences unfold. When we anchor ourselves in the present, we step out of the shadow of time's linear march and into its infinite depth. The nature of time teaches us to let go of urgency and to embrace patience. It reminds us that life unfolds at its own pace, guided by rhythms we cannot always perceive. Time is not an enemy to be conquered, but a companion to be understood. By aligning ourselves with its flow, we discover that life is not a race to be won, but a journey to be savored, one moment at a time. Letting go is one of the most profound and liberating practices in life, yet it is often misunderstood as an act of defeat or indifference. In truth, letting go is neither passive nor weak. It is an art, a deliberate and courageous choice to release what no longer serves us, to unburden ourselves from the weight of attachment, and to make space for something new. It requires trust, presence, and a willingness to embrace uncertainty, all of which lead to a deeper sense of peace and freedom. At the heart of the struggle to let go is our human tendency to cling. We hold tightly to people, possessions, and even ideas, believing they define us or give us a sense of security. Yet the more we cling, the more we suffer. Life is inherently transient, and trying to grasp what is meant to flow is like trying to hold water in our hands. The tighter our grip, the faster it slips away. Letting go does not mean we stop caring, it means we stop resisting the natural rhythms of life. Letting go often begins with acknowledging what we cannot control. We expend so much energy trying to change circumstances, outcomes, or other people's actions, only to find ourselves frustrated when our efforts fall short. The truth is, much of life lies beyond our influence. Recognizing this is not an admission of powerlessness, but an act of wisdom. When we release our need to control, we free ourselves from unnecessary struggle and open the door to acceptance. Acceptance is a key part of letting go. It does not mean resignation or giving up, rather. It is about seeing things as they truly are without judgment or resistance. To accept is to say, this is what is happening right now, and to meet the moment with grace. In acceptance, we find clarity, for it allows us to move forward without being weighed down by denial or false hope. It is the foundation upon which true letting go is built. Letting go also requires trust in life's unfolding, in the idea that what is meant for us will come and what is not meant for us will fall away. This trust can feel difficult, especially when we are faced with uncertainty or loss. But it is precisely in these moments that letting go becomes most transformative. By releasing our grip on the need to know or control the future, we create space for possibilities we cannot yet imagine. Trust allows us to step into the unknown with courage and openness. Another aspect of letting go is releasing attachment to outcomes. We often attach our happiness to specific results, believing that only if things turn out a certain way will we feel fulfilled. But this attachment binds us to expectations that may not align with life's flow. When we let go of these expectations, we liberate ourselves to experience life as it is, not as we think it should be. Paradoxically, in letting go of what we think we want, we often discover deeper joy and fulfillment in what life offers. The art of letting go extends to our inner world as well. It involves releasing old patterns of thought, unhelpful beliefs, and emotions that no longer serve us. This requires awareness and self-compassion. We must be willing to face the pain or fear that keeps us holding on, to honor it, and then to release it. Letting go of these inner burdens is not a one-time event, but an ongoing practice, one that gradually brings us closer to a sense of inner freedom. Ultimately, letting go is an act of love for ourselves, for others, and for the unfolding of life itself. It allows us to live more fully in the present, unencumbered by the past or the need to control the future. It is in this state of surrender that we find true peace, for we are no longer fighting against life but flowing with it. Letting go does not mean we lose anything, rather, it means we gain everything that truly matters: freedom, clarity, and the ability to fully embrace the beauty of the moment. Life is like a river, constantly flowing and changing, carrying us along its course. In its natural rhythm, the river navigates twists and turns, sometimes gently and other times with great force. Yet instead of allowing ourselves to flow with its currents, we often find ourselves resisting it. This resistance, born from our desire to control or avoid discomfort, can leave us exhausted, frustrated, and disconnected from the natural rhythm of life. Resisting the current is not a battle we win, it is a struggle that depletes us. The path to peace lies in learning to let go and trust the flow. Resistance comes in many forms. Sometimes it shows up as clinging to the past, holding tightly to what was, even when it is no longer part of our reality. Other times it appears as fear of the future, where uncertainty feels too overwhelming to face. We might resist change, refusing to accept circumstances that challenge our sense of stability. At its core, resistance stems from our inability to accept life as it is, driven by the belief that we can or should shape it entirely to our will. This struggle against the current is not only futile but also unnatural. Rivers do not flow backward, nor do they stop for obstacles in their path. When we resist, we deny the fundamental truth of life, that it is ever changing and beyond our full control. By trying to fight the current, we separate ourselves from the flow of existence, creating unnecessary suffering. Resistance breeds tension, as we expend energy trying to force outcomes or avoid realities we cannot change. Consider how much effort it takes to swim upstream. The harder you try to move against the current, the more resistance you feel, and the more drained you become. Similarly, in life, resisting what is creates a cycle of frustration and exhaustion. It keeps us locked in a state of struggle, unable to move forward because we are too focused on fighting what we cannot alter. In this state, we lose sight of the beauty and opportunities that lie in simply flowing with life's natural course. Letting go of resistance does not mean giving up or being passive. It is about recognizing when to act and when to yield. Flowing with the current requires trust in life's inherent wisdom and in our ability to navigate its challenges. It means understanding that not everything is meant to be controlled, and that there is strength in surrender. Yielding to the current is not a sign of weakness, but a profound act of wisdom and courage. Acceptance is the key to releasing resistance. When we stop resisting the current, we allow ourselves to be carried by life's natural rhythm. This does not mean we abandon effort or intention, but we align our actions with the flow rather than against it. Acceptance teaches us to adapt, to find grace in change, and to embrace the unknown with an open heart. It allows us to move with life rather than against it, conserving our energy for what truly matters. In letting go of resistance, we also open ourselves to the lessons and gifts that come with life's flow. Each turn in the river, whether smooth or turbulent, carries the potential for growth and discovery. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable become opportunities for transformation when we face them with acceptance rather than resistance. The flow of the current, no matter how unpredictable, often leads us to places we never imagined but were meant to find. When we release our need to resist, we find a deeper connection to the present moment. We stop fixating on what should be and start appreciating what is. In this state of presence, life becomes less about struggle and more about participation, being fully engaged in the experience of living. The current of life, though sometimes uncertain or challenging, has a rhythm and wisdom of its own. By trusting it, we find not only peace but also the freedom to move forward with grace and confidence. Resisting the current is a natural response to fear and uncertainty, but it is one we can learn to overcome. By letting go, trusting the flow, and embracing life as it unfolds, we discover a way of being that is more aligned with the rhythm of existence. Life's river is always moving. Our role is not to fight it, but to learn to flow with it, finding balance, ease, and joy along the way. Waiting is often seen as a pause, an interruption in the flow of life, a space where nothing happens while we anticipate the next chapter. Yet, waiting is not empty or meaningless. Beneath its still surface, profound growth is occurring, both within and around us. It is in the waiting that transformation takes root, often unseen but deeply powerful. Growth in the waiting is not about what we are doing, but about who we are becoming as we allow time and patience to work their quiet magic. In a world that prizes action and speed, waiting can feel uncomfortable, even intolerable. We are conditioned to equate progress with movement and success with immediate results. Waiting, on the other hand, asks us to slow down, to pause, and to trust in a process we cannot entirely control. This is not an easy task. It requires patience and faith, qualities that are often tested in a culture of instant gratification. Yet it is precisely in this pause that growth finds its most fertile ground. Waiting forces us to confront the limits of our control. We cannot rush the unfolding of seasons, the healing of wounds, or the fruition of our dreams. Life has its own rhythms, and waiting teaches us to honor them. This surrender is not an act of weakness, but of wisdom. It allows us to step back, to breathe, and to recognize that not everything depends on our effort alone. In the stillness of waiting, we learn the art of letting go of urgency, expectations, and the need for constant answers. Growth in the waiting often happens beneath the surface, like seeds planted in the earth. For weeks we may see no visible signs of life, yet beneath the soil roots are spreading and life is taking shape. Similarly, in our own lives, periods of waiting are often when the most profound inner growth occurs. These are the times when we reflect, recalibrate, and deepen our understanding of ourselves and our path. The waiting period becomes a crucible for transformation, where patience and perseverance shape us into stronger, wiser beings. Waiting also teaches us to be present. In our rush to reach the next milestone, we often overlook the beauty and lessons of the moment. Waiting invites us to slow down and notice the subtle shifts within ourselves, the quiet gifts of the present, and the opportunities for gratitude that surround us. It is in this state of presence that we find meaning, even in the spaces that seem empty. The growth that happens during waiting is often one of perspective. It teaches us to shift from a mindset of scarcity, focusing on what we lack or what we are waiting for, to one of abundance, appreciating what is already here. It allows us to develop resilience as we learn to endure uncertainty with grace. It nurtures humility as we accept that life unfolds in its own time, not ours. And it fosters trust as we come to believe that the waiting is not a void but a preparation for what is to come. Waiting is also an invitation to align with life's deeper rhythms. Just as nature moves through cycles of dormancy and growth, so do we. The quiet, still moments of waiting are as essential as the active, vibrant ones. They give us time to rest, to gather strength, and to prepare for what lies ahead. In this way, waiting becomes not a hindrance but a gift, offering us the chance to grow in ways we might never have anticipated. Ultimately, growth in the waiting is about not just becoming ready for what we are waiting for, but becoming more attuned to ourselves and to life. It is a process of unfolding, of allowing life to shape us even as we wait. The waiting itself becomes a journey, rich with lessons, growth, and quiet transformation. When we embrace it, we find that the waiting is not wasted time, it is sacred time, a necessary chapter in the story of our becoming. Thanks for watching.